met my husband at 16 after being in a series of toxic relationships. I was a party girl and he was a local minister. Despite my lifestyle, he treated me like a queen and constantly showed me my worth. Shortly after, I gave my life to Christ. We got engaged and married at the age of 18 and 20. We've built so much together, establishing everything from the ground up with little support. 3 years into our marriage, we welcomed our first set of twins. 2 years later, we welcomed our second set. Now we are full-time creators who display how amazing young marriage and family can be when you let God write your love story.
Hey everyone, it's your favorite Black single mother here, Samantha, the millennial introvert. And today I wanted to comment on this video that I just saw from the Jacksons of Atlanta, where it seems like it's like a trailer, or maybe she's just telling her meet cute story. I don't know. But it's basically a story about how they met and how they came to be where they are now married, a married couple. I saw a lot of red flags in that video. One, I always kind of cringe when I hear religion. I just feel like at this point, everyone should know religion is a scam and that most people are not living that in that way. A lot of them, if anything, are using it as cover to do the wrong things and say, well, I'm a pastor. And so people don't really expect them to misbehave, but they just be misbehaving all over the place and really just exploiting people's vulnerabilities and taking advantage of the fact that people trust them. And so, Mahogany Jackson got with her husband, Justin, and she said in the video that she was the party girl and he was the pastor. And she probably thought she was getting a good man because he's the pastor. So that was like the first red flag. It's like the guard is definitely down when women get with males who claim to be men of God, because we just think like, oh, they're going to be good men. And that hardly is the case. And then I didn't like that she said that he showed her self-worth. Made me really wonder, like, where are your parents at that they're not doing that? Because you should have a father, hopefully, in your life that will do that for you. And if you're not a father, then at least your mom or maybe uncles, brother, I don't know, someone that's in your family that doesn't have a lot to gain from telling you, like, your self-worth. To me, when a man has to give you your self-worth, that means he also can take it away. And that's very dangerous. I pride myself on the fact that I had to create my own self-worth, being a dark-skinned Black girl in Northern Virginia. Black guys, Black boys, when I was a girl, did not date Black girls, especially dark-skinned ones. They made us feel like we were less than and like Becky was the prize or whatever. And I was still intelligent enough and had the wherewithal to like pay attention to my surroundings. And so I would see how I remember one time I was in the mall and I was a teenager and I'm just walking with all my friends or whatever. And I saw this like dark skinned Black girl. She was with this light skinned Black guy and she was very pretty and she was like ordering him around. Her hair was done. Her nails were done. And he was just like following her like a puppy dog. And that's when I realized like it's really about you having confidence and creating your own self-worth, and men will treat you accordingly. Like it to me is kind of sad, but it seems like males will treat you the way you allow them to treat you. Some women are like this too. And that's something I've noticed over the years is like people are not just good people. Like you kind of have to like set your boundaries, and not even kind of, you have to set your boundaries. And if you don't, people are just going to run all over the place because they don't know what is okay with you, what's not okay, and so on and so forth. So I learned from that lesson, and then just over the years, just being observant, watching, interracial couples and so on and so forth. I even saw like Black guys who would be like, I'm attracted to Black girls, but I'm not going to go out in public with you. So they were still like kind of cheating on the white girls with the Black girls. So then that kind of taught me, okay, so it's not that we're not attractive or that they're not attractive to us. It's just like more of like a social status type thing. Like in society, you want to be presenting one way, but then you're like still attracted to Black women another way. So these are just things I was all like putting together over time. And so needless to say, my point is like my self-worth is way up in the sky somewhere. Like I wish a dude would. Okay, so I do not like the idea that a woman, and this is what a lot of women do, I think, who get married, especially the ones who were just wrapped up in religion. They usually do look to their husbands, like a Monique even, to have that self-value, that self-worth, which is your value, and that self-esteem, and so on and so forth. And with that being said, like I'm actually surprised that Mahogany Jackson has the strength, the fortitude to just walk away from this mess that she's married to, because typically like women like this will be with this guy like 20 some years, especially with the kid, all her children that she's having with him. um they would not leave because it's like, it's not going to be easy. My identity is this marriage and this guy and blah blah blah, and being a wife and etc. And they'll just deal with the crazy forever. So it does lead me to believe. It also tells me, it reminds me of Danae Jackson and Derek Jackson. But it does tell me like maybe he did file for divorce. Maybe it is him who's leaving, because she probably would have never left. If he's giving you your self-worth and you don't feel like you are valuable without him, or because if that's the one guy that gave you self-worth, it's like, okay, so what happens when he walks away? Does your self-worth go with him because he's the one that gave it to you? Like, I'm just confused. I'm confused because I've never been that chick. So what's going on here? So I just feel like women need to get that therapy that they need. They need to spend a lot of time in isolation and going in within and finding that love from yourself, which is why it's called self-worth. So you need to find it from within. You don't give that power to a male. Okay. Um, Another thing I have an issue with is people saying that women are giving males babies. Why are we doing this, ladies? Like, let's end this in 2024. I don't even, I find that comment so problematic, and I want to tie it to the self-worth aspect of it, because I feel like it definitely has been implied, if not outright said directly, that Mahogany was basically having children so that her husband would not leave her, so that he would see value in her and stay with her. And I can say right off the bat, if y'all ain't working, children are not going to help. Okay, they are so much work, a lot of commitment to them. They are time consuming. They cost more money. So I don't know how adding that onto an already troubled marriage is going to keep a marriage together. If anything, it could act like a shackle, like like now I can't leave because we have another kid on the way. And you don't want to ever shackle someone to you. Like, that should not be what you want. And I know some women are just so desperate that they literally will do anything to like not have their husband especially leave them. But I would just say, just suck it up, be hurt, and just ride out with the kids you have, because adding more kids is not going to make a guy stay. It never has and never will. I don't care if you got 20 kids. If he wants to leave, he will leave. Look at Kate plus 8. So I just really find it very problematic that women are not having children because they want them. And then I feel like those are the women that are coming out on TikTok and social media and jumping in the comment section and talking about how they have children and they don't really want them and so on and so forth, because I've actually seen this in real life as well. And it's just like, of course you don't want them because you never wanted them. You had them for a grown man. And this is the most stupid thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, you should not, like, I would see women literally telling other women don't have a child with a man who says he doesn't want children, but no one has ever said don't have a child when you don't want children. Like, can we make this make sense? Like, again, just centering males to such a high level that you're putting his needs and wants, including giving him an entire human being. Like, how ridiculous is that? And some women give him more than one. And you didn't even want kids. Like, make this make sense. If you don't want kids, don't have kids. Find someone who doesn't want to have kids. And if they go back on it later and say, I want kids, then you got to leave. You got to leave. Stop giving an entire human to a person. Like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. The most ridiculous thing. You do not owe him anything. Even if he's your husband, you do not owe him anything. Make sure you want this child as well, because you're the one that's going to have to go through the changes. You're going to have the hormonal changes, the weight changes, all the changes. Then now you're the mom, and we all know that everybody's going to put pressure on the mother to do the most. So you need to think on it and make sure this is something you want. If it's not something you want, you might be wanting to file for divorce or tell your husband, we're going to visit the A clinic because this is not something I want. And if he wants a child and he's upset with you for doing that, then there's so many different options. One, he can agree to take the child once you have it and, he's got custody of it. Or he could say, or you could just say, screw this, I don't want my body messed up, so we're just going to do this. And now we're getting a divorce because he wants to have children all of a sudden. Who knows? Whatever the options are, put yourself first, ladies, because best believe men will do it. They will always put themselves first.
After 8 years of marriage and having 6 boys under the age of 6, the Jackson family of Atlanta is getting a divorce. Divorce where?
Fellas, this video is not for you. If you're a man, just keep on scrolling. Come here, ladies. Bring it in close. This is why I always tell women, only have the amount of kids that you can take care of by yourself. And I know that may sound, now I'm married, so you ain't gotta listen. I'm not married, so you ain't gotta listen to shit I say. But we all know this is not an opinion, this is a fact. When couples break up, majority of the time the kids are with the women. So I don't care if you're married. If you only want 2 kids and your husband want 4, only have 2 kids. Because if y'all get a divorce, your husband, God forbid, pass away, or you find out he's cheating on you, whatever the case may be, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be stuck with the kids. Only have the amount of kids that you can take care of by yourself. I don't give a fuck what your husband wants. But then again, I'm not married, so you don't have to listen to me.
They will almost always put themselves first. Do not be putting him above you, especially for something as big as having a child. You absolutely have to love the idea because it is a lifelong commitment. So you can't be like, I'm giving you a baby, because he could die. He could divorce you. He can leave. He can do anything he wants, because they always do. And you're going to be the one stuck with your child. And now you're jumping on YouTube or wherever, crying people a river, but not telling the whole story as to why you have children that you now do not want. Like, tell the truth. Don't try to make it seem like it's a child's fault. It's your fault because you were desperate for validation and acceptance from somebody who ended up not wanting you. And we should know by now, just looking at the data, that your marriage or whatever you're in is very unlikely to last a lifetime. Okay, so I hate to just say it, but let's keep it a buck. You know, if it does, that's great, but it's a high chance it won't. And so you've got to be thinking accordingly. You've got to be making those decisions with that in mind and being very strategic and intelligent about your choices. And one thing with kids, you cannot play them games. You have to know, I want these children. I want to be a mother. Like I'm so desperately want to be a mom. Like, even if I didn't have a husband, I would go to IVF. I would do what I need to do to have a baby. I will adopt if I had to. Like, it has to be that level of desperation for babies. Like, it can't be, well, okay, he wants a kid. I guess I'll have a kid. No, absolutely not. I think people put more thought into getting a puppy, into getting a pet or whatever, like, than they put into having children. Like, you literally have to be obsessed with the idea, the type of person who will be forever sad if you couldn't have children. You would just die. Like, you just cannot deal. You cannot deal. You can, like, that's how you need to be to become a mother or a father. You cannot be like, oh, I guess I'll have a kid. No, 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 because then you're going to be on social media talking about how you don't want your kids, which is the worst, because now these kids are looking at you talking about you don't want your kids because you're showing your whole face on social media saying this BS. Or you're going to be the parent who goes out for milk and doesn't return. Whichever one, neither one of them are good. So let's just end the codependency. Let's end being overly codependent and desperate and pressed and needing to be coupled at all cost, where now you're bringing in another third party individual that did not ask for this and ruining their lives. Let's just end that. Okay. So I would rather you be a healthy single mother than to be, or just be childless, like have no kids, than to have kids and then be like, oh, I regret my kids. And people are saying that, like, oh, you shouldn't have it. The people that regret their kids are the people who had kids that did not want to be a parent. They just had a child to keep a man. That's who does not want their children. I've never heard a woman who wants to be a mother, like her entire life wants to be a mom, have kids and regret it. Not once. Absolutely not once. If you hear the woman having, like, it's not to say, oh, it's every day is perfect, but I've never once heard a woman who wants to be a mother more than anything in life say, oh, I regret having my children. Never. Never, never, never. And you'll be hard pressed to find it. If that does happen, sad for them, but it usually doesn't happen. I mean, people know what they're getting into. Having a child is not like some big secret. They're difficult to raise. There's good times and bad. There's lots of reward, even though it's hard. And that's what I hear a lot of mothers say. I've seen so many mothers, maybe even fathers too, who say, even with all the trials and tribulations, all the drama, all this and all that, they love their child to death and they would not change a thing. They would not ask for a different child. They would not change anything ever in life. They want that one child, no matter how that child's acting. That's just what it is. That's true love. And those are the people who need to be parents, not the ones who feel like it's a fair weather moment. And when the weather's good, we want to be a parent. When the weather's bad, I don't want to be a parent. No. And then you taking yourself to social media to embarrass your child is the ultimate worst thing I think you could ever do. So anyways, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And let me know what you all think about my commentary on this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.